Hi everyone. Today we did get another slight continuation higher. We got a little bit lower like we expected in the after hours pre-market this morning, and then we pretty much rallied here throughout the session on the S&Ps. A little bit of divergence here. We'll see if that ends up mattering in the charts here today, but let's take a look at those medium-term charts and see if we can find any direction. Do me a quick favor and like and subscribe and watch the video till the end to help out the channel, and let's get started. Looking at fear and greed, we're up to a 47 from a 43, so continuing to see that rally. We're into greed now on momentum. Pretty quick movement there from extreme fear into greed, but interesting to see a little bit of strength coming through there on momentum. Strength not moving yet. Breadth sitting in regular fear now, with that continuing to rally a little bit. Put call ratio pulling back a little bit more into neutral, and volatility still not moving a whole lot, still in neutral there. Safe haven demand in greed, junk bonds still in greed, but rolling over a little bit more, heading towards that extreme greed seemingly. Moving over to the earnings calendar just for a second, you can see pretty much green across the board here. American Airlines did beat, but they missed on their forward guide, and that was not super great. I wonder if that's going to follow through at all. They seem to be the outlier, at least for now. Alaska Airlines doing a little bit better. And then for the Friday, pretty much just Verizon there, as well as American Express. Looking at the economic calendar just for a moment, don't forget you do have a little bit of data here tomorrow. Pretty much nothing for today. Initial jobless claims, continuing jobless claims, a little bit worse than expectations, but not enough to spook markets by any means. 10-year tips came in a little bit hotter than the previous at 2.2, maybe a little bit more inflation potentially coming through. It'll be interesting to see if that follows through to the Michigan data tomorrow, but not expecting any of these to be super impactful. And then moving over here to the charts, it's another pretty much straight up day, 0.5% like we talked about on the intro. Momentum still bullish, RSI still not quite overbought on the day. Clean break above these levels here, so you have a new all-time high close. Pretty clean move there as it continues to go higher on the S&Ps. The S&Ps really have been the outperformer here. So far over the last couple days, you can see that kind of run as it continues here. We thought we might see a little bit of failing here as this kind of structure in here broke, but we did not. We ended up pushing right through that level, 607, and then pushing up. Didn't quite get to the trend. Really strong push on the last candle of the day. Momentum still very bullish. RSI also pretty bullish, but understand there is a little bit of divergence here. And then you can see that big volume spike on the last candle of the day. So slight hesitation, slight pullback, but then continued higher. So to me, everything is still a little bit bullish. And then looking at those tasty charts here, you can see we pulled back to the middle of the range, pushed right back to the upper levels of that range, pulled back slightly here, but again, volume, last candle of the day, everything looks good there. So we'll see if it can continue on this kind of grinding price action, just a little bit of pullback after hitting that upper band. We did expect that, but this rally here at the end of the session was a little bit surprising. Moving over to the NASDAQ, not quite as strong, 0.2%, didn't get above 533, didn't even really touch it on the session. Momentum still bullish, RSI still bullish on the daily chart. We're still at a lower high as of right now. If we close below 533 again for a third day in a row, maybe we're showing consolidation, lower high potentially in here. That would be interesting, but for now, still holding up. We came down, touched this trend, rallied through. Again, everything still looks a little bit bullish. And then looking at that hourly chart, you can see pulled back to the trend, held the trend, really choppy on the 530 level. So you can see on a closing basis, we held it on the hourly chart. It looks a lot cleaner on the hourly than it did on the short time frames, but you can see really choppy on there. Held the 9 EMA after we broke above it on that 9 o'clock candle, touched that level, rallied through. Again, last candle of the day, really strong. Didn't quite get to the level, got to overbought conditions, clear divergence here on the hourly. Big volume on that up candle. We'll see if it kind of holds this mid-range and pushes above 533. If it rejects from here again, you could absolutely see a break of this structure in here, and then you're looking for 526.50. And then looking at that tasty chart here on the hourly, didn't quite get to that upper band. Definitely not as strong as the S&Ps. S&Ps are continuing to outperform here today. Didn't even quite hit that second ATR band and then pulled back, so that's interesting. Again, volume, last candle, not a ton of volume during the mid-session. We'll see if we kind of chop sideways here, wait for a little bit of consolidation, and then roll. Or if it's just going to sideways chop, pull back in time, continuation higher. Overall, still bullish conditions though. Moving over to the Russell and the Dow. Russell had a good day, up about 0.5%. It did gap down pretty aggressively all the way down to 226.50 and then bounced right back to the level 229.18 on a closing basis, closed at 229.30, so it's above it there. Momentum bullish, RSI still bullish. And then look at this Dow, absolutely massive. Gap to the level 441.34. push to that next level, waiting to see if we can break out back to the all-time highs in here, 449.95. We put this level on here yesterday and it pushed right to it here today. So continues to be relevant. Next is your all-time highs right around 450. And then for the Russell here, you got the 55 EMA, 230 is your next level, and then you got a trend in here, 231. My next level, 232. And then flowing through these fairly quickly here, Apple was down 0.08, still holding the trend structure in here. Microsoft up 0.11, gap down just like everything else. Almost touched the level, did touch the trend. Bounced from there, next level still 453. I would guess that it's going to go just based on all the catalysts we've been seeing. As long as markets continue to hold up, we'll probably see Microsoft hold up as well. And then just looking at Apple real quick, 224.36. If we close above that, we're probably in good shape. If it closes below this trend in the 200, that's going to be terrible. It's definitely oversold in the short term, so I would be looking for a little bit of a relief rally from here. Moving over to Tesla and NVIDIA. Tesla continues to sell off 0.6%. Closed below the 21 yesterday, continues to sell through there. Broke 414.50, and now you're looking for trend support around 405. And then you got NVIDIA, came back, tested the level at 144.42. Gave you a great entry there, rallied right back to the high from yesterday. Want to see this push to 149.65. Moving over to Meta and Broadcom. Meta had a great day, up 2%, looking for this trend up here. It's going to be around 645. In tomorrow's session, that'll take you just past all-time highs. We're basically there already. New all-time high close there for Meta. And then you got Broadcom down just a smidgen, 0.25%, still chopping sideways in the same range post earnings. Moving over to staples and discretionaries. You got staples rallying just a little bit right back to the level, 77.50, closed on it to the penny. Momentum still bullish, RSI still bullish. And then you got discretionaries testing the trend, bouncing back from that level, looking for some continuation in tomorrow's session. Momentum still bullish, RSI still bullish. As long as the trend holds, we're in good shape. It's kind of hoping to see a retest of the 21, but if it just bounces from here, it's probably going to be a little bit more aggressive up to this trend in the 236 area. Moving over to breadth, 20-day breadth held flat in here, slightly positive, still in the same range it's been in. 50-day getting a little bit of a recovery, still not above 52.81. Want to see it close above that if we're going to get that kind of continuation. For right now, it still looks strong. Momentum still very bullish, not quite overbought yet, but definitely a little bit of hesitation on that 20-day. Partially because it really doesn't go too much higher than this, but also because this rally has been super aggressive and you can see the momentum is fading. Moving over to the dollar. Dollar fell a little bit on the session. You can see came back, tested the 108 level. Higher low setup from there, rallied through. Now I would say this is a little bit bullish. You can see it's a little bit bullish as we go into the next session. Momentum hasn't gone with it quite yet, but if this dollar starts to rally like it looks like it might off of that 108 level, that could absolutely be a little bit bearish for equities. So watching this zone in here as we head higher into this 108.82 area. Moving over to bonds, you can see bonds caught a little bit of a bounce. Still a little bit of risk on there for J&K. TLT on the other hand did fall a little bit, 0.7. Again, we said we were a little extended. We got the step down on momentum now. The question is the low in on that 14 January candle like I think that it is? Want to see the higher low setup and then continuation style move? Potentially. If it breaks this low though, that's going to be catastrophic. So watching this kind of consolidation area closely. Moving over to VIX, you can see the VIX is still holding that 14.7 level, touched it again, caught a little bit of a bounce. It was still down on the day, just a smidgen, but definitely continuing to hold that support. Interesting, waiting to see what happens from here. If we get the breakdown, obviously we're good. If it holds this level and starts to spike again, that could be a rollover for markets. And we're basically a double top on the SPY, lower high setup on the Qs, and that's going to be very, very difficult for markets. So watching this closely in the next couple days in markets. Moving over to my accounts, I didn't trade super great on the day. Markets were really choppy on my level at 530. So following my rules, I was trying to get in and out on those kinds of moves and it just was not working. And then we ended up rallying really aggressive into the end of the session. So kind of choppy session, didn't work out super great for me. We'll see how it plays out as we go into tomorrow's session. In terms of positions, pretty good day on the Russell. Managed to make some money there, back into the green for the Russell and the Roth IRA. Unfortunately, now I'm in the negative on my individual account. Not a super great January for the start of the year, but overall, not too bad, definitely recoverable. I've had better years, I've had worse years for sure. But like I said, looking at positions, I got my shares here still on the Russell, 227. $1.50 for tomorrow's session for $1.75 credit. Obviously, that's deep in the money, but it is selling a little bit after hours. That'll be interesting to see if that continues. Obviously, lots of protection on, so not super worried about it. And then looking at the Qs, sold at 531, 532 for tomorrow for $1.10 and $1.40 respectively, so $2.50 on that, which puts me actually in my sweet spot for potential credit for tomorrow. Trying to collect all of that money. We'll see how it plays out. Still looking for at least a little bit of consolidation. Still potentially could go in either direction for me, but leaning slightly bullish. Let me know down in the comment section what you thought of markets today. Let me know what you thought of the rallies. Otherwise, like and subscribe if you got any value out of this video. Make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. Good luck in your trading and have a great day.